In the dead of night, on a road alone, you see a figure standing like stone. Do you stop and drive away in fright? This tale is of a hitchhiker's plight. It was a moonless night, and the woman was driving home alone on a deserted road, surrounded by a dense forest that seemed to close in around her like a living, breathing thing. Suddenly, she saw a figure standing in the middle of the road. As she got closer, she realized it was a hitchhiker. Feeling uneasy, she decided to keep driving and not pick him up. But as she drove away, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She glanced in her rear view mirror and saw the hitchhiker's face. It was twisted in anger, his eyes glowing red like embers. Suddenly, her car started to malfunction, the engine sputtering and wheezing like a dying animal. Panic set in as she realized that the hitchhiker had somehow gotten into the back seat of her car. He grabbed her hair with cold, clammy hands, and she frantically tried to shake him off, but he was too strong, too powerful. Like some kind of malevolent force had taken possession of her car. As she careened down the road, the hitchhiker began to whisper in her ear, his voice like nails on a chalkboard. His words nonsensical, twisted, dark. They seemed to burrow into her mind like worms, filling her with a sense of unspeakable dread. In a moment of sheer desperation, the woman managed to jump out of the car and run to a nearby gas station. She called the police. They found the car abandoned on the side of the road, but they never found the hitchhiker. Years later, a group of teenagers drove down the same road and pitched up a hitchhiker. He had a twisted face and his eyes glowing red like hot coals. They should have known better, but their curiosity got the better of them. As they drove, the hitchhiker began to tell them stories of his past, stories that made their blood run cold. As they drove deeper into the night, the hitchhiker's stories grew more and more macabre, each tale more horrifying than the last. The teenagers started to realize that they had made a grave mistake, and they began to panic, but it was too late. The hitchhiker's face twisted into a malevolent grin, and they never made it to their destination. Days later, their bodies were found in the forest, torn to pieces, their eyes still wide with terror. No one ever found out what happened to them, but some say that the hitchhiker still haunts that desolate road, waiting for his next victim to pass by.